What's going on, guys? So today I'm just going to be going over some of the best Pokemon stat-wise in Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I try to keep the list to mainly the Pokemon that'll be before post-game. I believe it is all before post-game Pokemon, and then I kept legendaries off the list for obvious reasons. So starting off, again, obviously, Garchomp being the pseudo-legendary has a base stat total of 600, which is the highest of pretty much any Pokemon you can get in Sinnoh that isn't a legendary. As you can see, it has attack of 130, and that's all of its other stats are very good as well. I mean, no wonder Cynthia uses this. So, this is obviously a very overused Pokemon. Pretty much everyone uses this on their team, but for good reason. It is a really good Pokemon, has a really good base stat total, and a good design. So, that's number one. We'll move on to the next Pokemon that gets its own slide is Togekiss, because it has a BST of 545, which isn't shared with any other Pokemon that are obtainable yet. So yeah, it has a pretty good special attack and special defense. Obviously in this game it'll have the fairy typing as well, I believe, instead of in Gen 4 when it just had flying and then normal. So it should be better in this, has more access to more moves, and again has a very nice base stat total. So now we're moving into the 540s, where we have, I think, 6 mons to look at. Here, the first 3, we have Electivire, who I love using, love its design. Just really cool in general. Has 123 attacks, that's pretty good, and then the rest of its stats are, pretty alright. Blissey's on the list, but obviously its HP stat, ranks over everything else. So it has a good BST, but I would not recommend using this because its attack and defense are both 10. Special attack and special defense are somewhat better, and then its speed is nothing to go on about as well. Gyarados as well should be accessible. It has a good base stat total, has 125 attack, so just a little bit more than Electivire. Speed is pretty good as well, not amazing, but not bad. But mainly a good physical water type attacker. And then the next 540 base stat totals are Magmortar, which is more the counterpart to Electivire, so it's special attack instead of attack, with 125. Milotic, which would be pretty hard to get in this game, but I still think it might be worth it, because the Feebas is going to be the way it was in the original game, where it's only on a couple tiles, so you're going to have to spend a while hunting this thing, but I think it might be worth it if you want to use it on your team as a good water type special attacker. And then pretty much the same case as Blissey. Snorlax, if you want to actually be able to use a Munchlax and evolve into Snorlax this game, that's definitely an option because there have been Munchlax in the underground. But again, its HP kind of overranks everything else, but unlike Blissey, it actually has better attack and some defense, but obviously its attack is a lot better than Blissey's would, by 100 points actually. So up next, we got the 535 base stat totals. Starting off with Crobat. It has pretty good and pretty even stats, except for its speed, which is the highest at 130. So obviously, fast poison type attacker or fast flying type, so you use acrobatics, stuff like that. You got Magnezone, another electric type I like using a lot, like its design. Has good special attack and pretty good in both types of defense. Speed, not so great though. And then we have Porygon Z, mainly special attack, and then the rest of its stats are kind of rounded out. Alright, now we got Tangrowth, which actually kind of surprised me when I was looking at this. I didn't think it would have such a high base stat total. But it does have very good special attack, very good defense. The thing that really makes Tangrowth not unusable, but it makes it harder to use, is its very low special defense and speed. So if you get hit by Flamethrower or something, you're kind of done with Tangrowth. So maybe not the best Pokemon, but it does have a good base stat total. And then we have Rhyperior, very good attack, HP, and defense, and then obviously it lacks in special attack, special defense, and speed. And then behind them by 1 point actually is Infernape, so the top of all the starters, has really good attack and special attack, both at 104. So you can kind of mix it, unless you want to use IV training or items, then you kind of have to specialize in either attack or special attack. But as a fighting type, I'd say probably go for attack. It also has very good speed, so really good, quick, and hard hitter, but its defense is a little bit lower. So now we have 530 base stat totals with Mamoswine and Napoleon. So we have the second highest base stat total for starters of the three. Obviously, Empoleon is a special attacker. Doesn't have terrible attack, but special attack's the way to go. Which is a little unfortunate because the Steel type obviously has like more of the physical moves than special moves. Everything about Empoleon is pretty well rounded except for its speed, which is only at 60. In fact, it is outsped by Mamoswine at 80. And Mamoswine has attack at 130 and HP at 110, so those are both really good. And you can run some good physical attacks on those. Alright, so now we're at 525. So I think we have 7 Pokemon to cover here. Up first are Dusknoir, which has pretty good defense and special defense. Those are both very good. It does lack quite a bit in HP, special attack, and speed. Its attack is alright, but nothing too amazing. Powdon is another one on the list. Good HP, attack, and defense. Speed as a hippo obviously is very low. Special attack and defense both not great as well. Up next is Probopass. We got defense at 145, which is really good. Special defense 150, also very good. So that's a really good defender you can use. It does have slightly higher special attack, and obviously its speed is pretty low, but it is definitely a good defensive mon. And then last for this page we have Lucario, which I always forget that somehow Lucario's special attack outshines its attack by 5 points. I guess it is the Aura Pokemon and it has Aura Sphere, but as a fighting Steel type, it's kind of weird to see a special attacker instead of a physical attacker, because both those types usually have more physical moves. But I guess for Lucario you can use both special and physical attacks, as it's at 110 and 115. And then HP, defense, special defense are all 70, and speed is 90, so it's not insanely fast, but it's not slow either. Up next we got the 2 new evolutions for this generation, and then the last starter, Torterra. So for Leafeon, that's the best in attack, so more physical moves. It has a high defense of 130. And then Glaceon's flipped with a special attack of 130, defense of 110, so it kind of just moves down from attack at 110, defense at 130, moves down from there from defense, and it's a special attack. So you can run some good special attack ice-type moves on Glaceon, and then more physical grass moves on Leafeon. And then lastly, Torterra has an attack of 109, defense 105, so those are both pretty solid. And its HP is at 95, and then the rest of its stats are kind of low, but not terrible. The worst of them is the speed, obviously, as it's a big ground turtle. And last but not least, these ones are just ones I kind of wanted to include because it's not terrible, but Luxray's speed isn't really anything to write home about. It's only 70. So it has a decent base stat total, but nothing too good. It has a good attack of 120, but that's the really only super good thing about Luxray. Besides that, sometimes it does get outshined by a lot of other electric types that people don't always use. And then I wanted to include the Rotoms because I know they aren't before the post game. They're in the post game. You can't get them before that because it's a remake of Diamond and Pearl, not Platinum. So you have to wait till the post game. But I wanted to include these because all of the forms have a base stat total of 520. I believe the regular Rotom has 440 as its base stat total, but obviously if you're going to use a Rotom on your team, you're going to want the extra typing anyways. So I think it'd be really cool if they included it earlier, kind of like how it was in Platinum, because me and my friends are all planning on using a different form, which obviously we can't use now until the post game, but I think it was worth putting on the list, because if you do want to find this and use this after the main story, I think it'd be worth using one of the forms, especially because I think they look pretty funny. They're fun to use. I mean, personally, I like the fridge and the microwave the most, but I know everyone likes using the washing machine because it's competitive. So I'm assuming people will probably use this in some capacity for the gym rematches, whether it's, going through the main 8 or going back to the Elite 4, or maybe Cynthia. I'm assuming people will probably use the washing machine or maybe some of the other ones. But yeah, that's my list of some of the best Pokemon statistically that you can get in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Obviously, there's more Pokemon on here that are good to use, but those are the ones just with the highest base stat totals. So I'm not really telling you what to use here, but I'm just giving you some ideas. Obviously, some Pokemon aren't available. Like I wanted to use Yanmega before, or in my main part of the game, but that's not available to post game. So hopefully, this helps you out a little bit with making your team, and hope you guys have a good day.